didn't know Hamilton Township had this many kids, but I'm a recovering drug addict. I used for a lot of years. I didn't have nothing like City of Angels around for me to try to guide me and show me, but mine started at an early age. I was raised in orphanages, and back in them days, they didn't, with kids with problems like I had, they didn't know what to do with us, so they just stuck us in hospitals and institutions. So from an early age, I felt unworthy, that nobody wanted me, that I didn't matter to nobody. And then I got put in my first foster home at like 9.5 years old. And the first year I was there, the guy that was supposed to be my foster father molested and raped me for a year and a half. At 11 years old, I started getting high. And I seen what happened was that pain and that feeling unworthy that I felt, you know, it went away. And that's why most of us start getting high. We start doing it because it's at a party and all our friends are doing it, so it's kind of experimenting. But for some of us, it's got issues that we haven't dealt with. What happens is it becomes like a sort of Novocaine, which starts numbing us, you know. From that, at 15, 16 years old, I got in a lot of trouble. And back then, they gave us a choice of either going to jail or going to join the service. So I decided to join the Marine Corps. I figured if I joined the service and went and fought for my country, then that would take care of things and straighten me out, and it did for a while. I was in the Marine Corps for 6 years as a military police, and I didn't do drugs at all, but I drank really bad. I supplemented all that, the drugs that I was doing with alcohol, which was the exact same thing. After I got out of the military, I thought, you know, I wanted to become a highway patrol, a motorcycle cop, and so what I did is when I got out, that emptiness and that scared feeling and that sense of unworthiness came back. So what I did is I went right back into that lifestyle of getting high and doing drugs. Except this time I was older, I was a lot bigger, and I was a lot more dangerous with my training. So I needed to feel wanted by somebody, so I ended up joining a motorcycle gang. Them people welcomed me with open arms because I was exactly what they needed. They were exactly what I needed because they made me feel like I was needed by somebody. They needed me because I'd do anything they told me to do, which meant doing a lot of bad stuff. I started having kids. I have 4 beautiful daughters that I didn't watch grow up because of this lifestyle. I remember I was there each time my daughter was born, and I remember holding them and telling them that, you know what, I'm going to be the best father you've ever seen. I'm walking away from this lifestyle. I'm done doing this, living this life, but the drugs pull at you so hard that you don't have a choice, and it pulled me right back into the pit, so to speak. Jumping way ahead, you know, I ended up with these guys I was hanging with. We did something. We were guilty. It was bad, and I ended up facing 25 years in prison. And I figured I was going to spend the rest of my life in jail now. And something happened because the courts or the police didn't do right. So we ended up getting it dropped to 5 years. I did 39 months in the state penitentiary. I figured this would straighten me out. Once I got out, then maybe now I can start doing the right thing, and that didn't wake me up at all. I did every kind of drug you can think of, 2 suicide attempts. Violence was like another drug to me, and I really got an adrenaline rush off of hurting people, of physically hurting them. I live with a lot of guilt today because of it. What I found was, at the end, I just couldn't take the pain no more, and I didn't know how to talk to nobody. I wasn't about to go tell somebody what was going on inside my mind and inside my heart, so to speak. And so I live in Hamilton Township on White Horse Mercerville Road, 4-lane, busy street. I stood up on the end of a table with the rope around my neck. I figured if I just jump off this table, man, I ain't gonna hurt no more. I don't have to get high no more. I don't have to feel this pain no more. I don't have to talk to nobody about this stuff, and I wasn't able to do it. I got a burn around my neck today because of that. My wife found out about what was going on, and she ended up having me committed into a hospital. 6 Hamilton police came to escort me off my property, took me up to a rehab hospital psych ward, and I did like 2 weeks in there, and I got out. The unworthiness was still there. The feeling, the way I felt was still there. So I figured, you know what, let me just go say goodbye to a couple people. I'm going to figure out, now I've got a clear mind. Now to kill myself, I know I can do it. I don't have to hurt no more. And something clicked. You know, I believe in a higher power, and I know it was my higher power now telling me, had a plan for me, but something clicked in, and they told me to go to meetings. I didn't have people like City of Angels to talk to, so I just started going to meetings, started getting a sponsor. I started, working what they call the 12 steps, and just by the grace of God, something happened where I started feeling a little different. I still felt sick inside. I still felt emptiness. I still felt unworthy. Now I'm dealing with all the guilt in my life of everything I've done, and all I found out was all I needed to do was talk about it. Most of the stuff that we hold inside, and each one of you in here, I'm looking around at some of your eyes, and each one of you in here has got something inside you that you just haven't let out and told nobody. And whether it's a parent or somebody at school or a friend, don't do what I did and hold them in so many years, and sooner or later you got to find something to stop hurting. So what happened was I had a couple years of being clean and sober, of not doing no drugs or alcohol or fighting or hurting nobody. But I kind of felt I needed to do something else with my life, and I didn't know what it was. I knew what I needed was spirituality, but I figured go to church and that's where you find spirituality, I thought. I started going to every church in Mercer County, and I'd walk in, and back then I had a long beard and my hair was down in my belt. And when I walked in, people looked at me. I thought people looked at me funny, so I'd walk out and I'd go find another one. And all this time, then I thought, well, maybe I looked in a mirror one day and I thought, look what you look like, dude. You got a beard down in your belly. You got hair down in your backside. So I cut it all off. I cut my hair real short. I cut my beard off, just kept the mustache. Started going back to these churches, and I thought the people were still looking at me funny. So I bought long sleeve t-shirt or long sleeve shirts, the yuppie kind of shirts that Kevin wears all the time. But what I did is I started covering myself up, and I'm trying to cover the outside up, and there was nothing wrong with my outside. It was all the inside I needed to work on. From that point on, what I started doing is working on me inside. I started, finding people that I can sit and talk to and say, look, this is what happened to me. This is what I did. This is, what's going on in my life, and I got it all out. It still wasn't enough, but I wanted to start giving back because I know the streets, I know the violent lifestyle, I know the gang world. What can I do to give back, so to speak? And so what I started doing is we go into the streets of Trenton, to the crack houses, into Philly, and pull young girls out of their addiction, whether they're prostituting or somebody's holding them. And we bring them back, but then I was stuck because now I don't know what to do with them. Now I've got these young kids, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. Up until me going to rehab, that's the only time I've ever dealt with any kind of rehab deal. So somebody told me about City of Angels, what they were about, and I guess the doors were open maybe 9, 10 months, close to a year. So I went in to check them out to see what they were all about, if they were the real deal that everybody told me about. And from that point on, it was like a match made in heaven. They had what I needed badly, and I was able to learn to give them what they needed, so to speak. I started doing interventions with Kevin. We got certified as interventionists. We got certified as family counselors. We got the certification to do what we do, and we just started working together. And then it's so bad out there now that very seldom that me and Kevin can even, we do anything like that together. But see, now the biggest thing with City of Angels is hope that, not only the people there that won't quit, we don't charge for what we do, it's all volunteer, but we truly, truly understand. We understand what people are going through, whether it be the pain, whether it be something going on in your life that you don't understand. With that, and I'm going to close, we have one of our young girls here to tell you a little bit about her story. If you guys always hear that thing about tattling. I think nowadays you call it a snitch, whatever it might be. You don't want to tell on your friend or the person sitting to the left of you or the right of you, because it ain't right to go tell the teacher or their parents that they're doing something they shouldn't be doing. Kevin was talking about how many kids have died because of this just in Hamilton Township. Don't not tell nobody because of that. If you can't go to a parent or go to a guidance counselor or one of these teachers standing around you, we got cards and brochures up there. Give us a call. Tell us anonymously what's going on. Don't take a chance on coming in tomorrow morning and the principal announcing over the intercom or however you guys talk here, that they found Billy dead this morning because of a drug overdose. And we sat here and think, well, what if I would have said something? So there's no such thing as snitching when you're trying to save somebody's life. And the last thing, if there's something in your life that you're holding back, that you're embarrassed or ashamed or don't want to talk about, You know, don't hold that in for too long, man, because that pain inside, it starts festering, it starts hurting. You know, you need to get it out and talk to somebody, please.